Eric the Elf. It was Eric the Elf's first day at his new job. He was very proud to be one of Santa's helpers. It was all he had ever wanted to be. Ever since he was a little elf, he had looked forward to working in the big Lapland Fun Factory, just like his father, Edward the Elf, and his grandfather, Egbert the Elf. Eric was so excited, he just couldn't stop laughing and giggling to himself.
Hee! I'm going to see Santa! Ha ha ha! I'm going to see Santa!
He chuckled. The other elves kept looking at him and wondering why he was laughing so much. And that made him laugh even more. The chief elf was trying to explain to all the new helpers what jobs they had to do.
Right, Elliot. You will be in charge of packing all the presents, beginning with A, B and C. For example, letters from children asking for things like archery sets, banjos and computers will come to your counter. You will go to the shelves and get the right present, pack it and label it so it will go to the right child. Do you all understand that?
All the elves nodded or said yes, except Eric, who was too busy standing on tiptoe and looking round for Santa. The chief carried on.
Elton, you will do the same for presents beginning with D, E and F.
Then he heard Eric. He boomed out,
Eric, will you please stop laughing? I can't hear myself speaking.
But Eric couldn't stop himself. After a few seconds, he started again.
I'm Santa's helper! I'm going to see Santa!
The chief elf got very angry.
Eric, go to the quiet room now. I'll deal with you later.
Eric should have been upset that his new boss had shouted at him, but he couldn't help skipping all the way to the big padded door and into the elves' restroom. He tried to read some comics, but he could not concentrate because he was so excited. He put the television on, but there was nothing he wanted to watch. So he stood at the window, watching all the other elves getting their instructions and going off to whichever part of the stores they had to work. After a while, he started to get worried.
There won't be any jobs left for me to do soon, he said to himself, and I'll be sent home.
This thought at last made him stop laughing, and by the time the chief elf came into the room, Eric was sitting quietly in a chair.
So, Eric, said the chief, do you want to work here, or shall I send you home?
Oh, please don't send me home. I'm sorry for being noisy. I was just so excited about working with Santa. I'll work very hard if you let me stay.
All right, I'll give you one more chance. But you are going to be the busiest elf here because I'm putting you in charge of Santa's special presents.
Oh, goody, goody, said Eric, cheering up. But what are the special presents?
Santa gives an extra gift to really good boys and girls, and the present must begin with the same letter as the child's name. So you will have to run to all the shelves in the store from A to Z.
He showed Eric to his counter and watched him for a little while to make sure he was doing it properly. The first child's sack came along the conveyor belt. Eric saw it was for a boy called Stephen. So he ran to the S shelf and got a skateboard. The next one was for a girl called Kirsty. So from the K shelf, he fetched a cuddly koala bear. And that is how it went on all day and all week. Eric got a bike for Bobby, a train for Tyrone, a jigsaw for Jamie, a necklace for Natalie, a locket for Lindsay, a puppet for Petra, a golf set for Gavin, an aquarium for Alex, and a zebra for Zach. He got a few things wrong, like a dolly for David and a cowboy outfit for Carrie, but mostly he got good presents for the children. Eric was kept so busy he didn't have time to laugh. He went home exhausted each night in the week before Christmas, and he never even got a glimpse of his hero, Santa Claus. Then at 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve, all the work was done. Santa's sleigh was loaded up with sacks of presents for all the boys and girls in the world. The chief elf called a meeting of the elves to congratulate them on their hard work. Eric was so exhausted that he fell asleep while the chief was talking. He started snoring very, very loudly, but he was woken up by the chief shouting at him, "Eric, go to the quiet room." This time he didn't skip or laugh or chuckle or giggle. He was far too tired. He hardly had the energy to push open the large padded door. But what a surprise when he went in the room. Sitting there, in the biggest, comfiest chair, was Santa Claus, with his long white beard and rosy red cheeks. Eric's face lit up with the biggest grin to see Santa smiling back at him. "Eric," said Santa, "the chief tells me that you are the hardest working elf he has ever known. And I need a hard worker to help me deliver the presents tonight. Will you help me, please?" Suddenly, Eric was no longer tired.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you, hooray! He shouted, then said, Oops, sorry, I forgot this was the quiet room.
Santa laughed. So that night, Eric flew all round the world with Santa, delivering special presents to good boys and girls. And as the sleigh jingled through the sky, this sound could be heard above the rooftops.
Hee hee hee! Ha ha ha!
Ho, ho, ho!